Welcome to Main Idea Level 6. Remember, the main idea is what the author wants you to know about the topic, and it connects all of the information in the text. In this, you're going to have to read some paragraphs and some passages and try to determine the main idea. So let's practice one together. Now let's remember some of our tips and tricks. We want to look for repeated phrases or words because that can help us hone in on what the author is focusing on. We want to try to identify a topic sentence. In a single paragraph, the topic sentence is usually at the beginning or the end. In a longer passage or article, the topic sentence is usually in the first paragraph or the last paragraph. We want to ask ourselves those three questions. What is the text mostly about? What does the author want me to know? And what links all of the information given? Let's keep those things in mind as we read this paragraph. In the northern United States, autumn is particularly colorful. Leaves change from green to red and orange, and many Americans take scenic fall foliage trips. In Japan, a similar phenomenon takes place in the spring. Cherry trees erupt in a shower of pink, and the entire country celebrates the arrival of sakura, or cherry blossoms. Though autumn leaves are admired in the United States, they are seen as just a pretty seasonal display. In Japan, on the other hand, cherry blossoms have much greater significance. The flowers are deeply rooted in Japan's culture and philosophy. Since as far back as the 8th century, sakura have symbolized change and beauty, new beginnings, and the circle of life. The blossoms have been celebrated in Japanese paintings, poems, and tea ceremonies for centuries. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Let's notice first that cherry blossoms is repeated a few times in this passage, so that can help us hone in on the author's focus. Now let's ask our questions. What is this mostly about? Well, it seems to be talking about autumn in the US and the colorful leaves, and spring in Japan with their cherry blossoms on the trees. Okay, cool. What does the author want us to know about those two things? Well, for that, we can look at this phrase here. There's a clue right here. On the other hand, it seems to be drawing a comparison between how we react to the colorful leaves and how people in Japan react to the cherry blossoms. It talks about how the cherry blossoms, the flowers, are deeply rooted in Japan's culture and philosophy. Whereas in America, we just take scenic fall foliage trips and appreciate the beauty of the leaves. But in Japan, since as far back as the 8th century, these cherry blossoms have had a lot to do with their culture and their traditions. So there's a little bit of a contrast here that the author is drawing. So they want us to know that we appreciate the colors of the fall, but in Japan, the cherry blossoms are actually connected to Japan's culture. Does that connect everything that we have in this passage? Yes, it does. So let's look at our options. Japan's spring cherry blossoms often serve as symbols of change or new beginnings in Japanese art or literature. Okay, that's true. And the author sort of talks about that near the end of this paragraph. But does that connect everything that's talked about in here? No, because that doesn't mention the US at all and our appreciation of the fall foliage. Option 2 states Americans appreciate the colorful leaves of fall, but the Japanese view the cherry blossoms of spring as part of their culture. That connects everything together. That's our main idea. Okay, so if you need help with these as you go, remember you can always ask a teacher.